Donald Trump has opened the doors to white South African refugees who are indeed undergoing crimes against themselves. It's genocide. It's genocide. They want to kill the white people in South Africa. So rightly so, Trump has given them refugee status. And here is Trump. He's talking about white South African refugees and allowing them into the country. Here we go.
Who claim discrimination in their home country are heading to the United States,
right,
where your administration is going to welcome them as refugees. Now, this comes as you've halted virtually all refugee admissions for people fleeing famine and war from countries like Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why are you creating an expedited path into the country for Afrikaners but not others?
Because they're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, we're supposed to have I guess a G20 meeting there or something. But we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of. But it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about. But it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white. But whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight.
Yes,
I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible.
Yes, you do. We know it. Look, we know what he has to say. I give him a pass. If they're black or white, no. There are plenty of black people have streamed into this country, and we feel its effects. But we get it, Donald. They're white people. They're being murdered. They're absolute refugees, and they deserve a new chance at life here in the United States. And then the guy brings up, well, what about refugees from Sudan or the Congo? Well, yeah, we've taken a few of those. England has a bunch of people from Sudan and Congo and Somalia. They don't assimilate. They don't assimilate to white society, to Western culture, to our great nations. They don't know how our innovations, amazing technologies work. So they're detrimental. It's just the way it is. These families will be an asset to this nation. This is the old way it used to be. People would come here for a better life with their families, and they would make something of themselves and in turn help the entire country by adding something, by assimilating, by knowing about this type of culture before they even get here. South African whites have a lot of the same morality that we have. They understand civil society and how you function in it. And we have a basic way we live our lives and belief system in things like fairness and freedom and the sanctity of life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, all that stuff. They already know this. You bring over some savage from the Congo, they don't know what the that's all about. And there's no teaching them that. They just, it's a tribal thing. So yeah, we're taking white South Africans and not people from the Congo or the Sudan. Sorry. Fix your own. Maybe in 100, 200,000 years, we'll accept some of you people. Here's Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Al Sharpton, not very happy about South African white refugees. Now, why? Because Reverend Al is black and a racist motherfucker. And he doesn't want every white person that's a refugee that comes here could be a black person. And Reverend Al doesn't care if they have the potential to contribute to the United States. He just wants them here because they're black. That's racist. I could say I want white South Africaners here because they've proven to be very industrious people. They can work under some very adverse circumstances. And like I said, they understand Western culture and society. And we have the same ideals. We hold the same things dear. That's what I want. And we just don't see that coming out of sub-Saharan Africa, aside from the whites in South Africa. Sudan, get the fuck out of here. Sudanese are going to come here and contribute and not be a burden on things. So Reverend Al's very upset about it. Here's Reverend Al talking about the South African white refugees.
You have a lot of...
I've talked to some people that been at the protest, and he's still in custody wherever. But I think that the problem here is that you're talking about the mayor of a city where people are being held without due process in many cases.
Right.
So he has the right to say, wait a minute, I want to know what's going on here. Why are people being held without due process? Now, you contrast
We'll get
that
to
at
it.
the same time, the New York Times is saying that President Trump is saying to white Afrikaners from South Africa, I'll give you refugee status. So we're bringing in white Afrikaners who we don't know if they're criminal. We don't know this, what they went through in the legal process in South Africa. But people right here in Newark, we're going to assume they're all criminal. We're going to bring them out. And if the mayor wants to say, wait a minute, let's have due process, lock him up. He's trespassing. It is as blatantly a double standard as one can get. What is the real policy going to be? And I think he's right. Judges have to establish, are we going to have due process? Or are we just going to let everybody go? And can the president just give other people blanket, you're refugees? So what's the difference, Mr. President, between a refugee and a guy that may be a criminal and may not be, given the Garcia situation?
Yeah, I mean, I hate doing graphic.
Reverend Al, of course, he's as racist as they come. It's all about blacks with Reverend Al. There is a big difference, Reverend Al. The people that are locked up in that ICE facility that the Newark mayor and other people were protesting are illegal aliens. They are here illegally. You don't come to the United States and then ask for refugee status. You have to apply for it. And then you can be taken in. You got to go through the system. These white South Africaners have been trying for years to get refugee status, and they patiently waited while their people are being murdered. Not the bullshit you see in Mexico, where they're crossing our border saying, oh, I need refugee status because what? You don't like your little shack down in Guadalajara? Sorry, that's not a refugee. Stay down there and fix your shit. Make it a better place. Because if you come here, we're going to hope and expect that you can make our country a better place. If you can't do that where you're from, then you probably don't belong here. So there's Reverend Al getting all pissy about it and trying to say it's a double standard. No, white South Africans, they waited. They were abiding by the rules and laws of the United States of America. They weren't sneaking into our country illegally. And we don't know if they're criminals. You're an idiot. What a fucking idiot. These are working families, farmers, mothers, fathers, and children, working families that need sanctuary, real refugee status from mobs of blacks that are roaming the countryside, murdering these families, the mother and the children. That's a refugee. And welcome them with open arms here. And some people just, they don't understand it because it's a race thing with them. It's not a burden thing or something else, or people that really need to be refugees like these white South Africaners. Here's another newswoman. This newswoman is very angry that white South Africans are being given refugee status by Donald Trump. You got that one, Sean? It was the last one I sent, I think.
So the Trump administration, they're saying that essentially these white South Africans assimilate better, and they're also not as much of a security risk. That's really causing a lot of people to be appalled, frankly. And I also should tell people that this violence that they're talking about that are dealing with these Afrikaners, I've been hearing from people that say there is violence in South Africa, but it's affecting everybody of every single race, Katie. So
Are you out of your mind? Violence in South Africa is affecting everyone of every single race. I will believe that because the blacks are killing other blacks, like happens in Chicago, happens everywhere. So I'm sure there's violence in South Africa that involves black people, black on black violence. The white people, the farmers that are being murdered, that's genocide. That isn't just your common black on black, I want to steal your shit, or we have a beef in the village and I need to kill you. No, this is genocide. They are trying to rid South Africa of white people through murder. So that qualifies as refugee. This woman trying to make it sound like, yeah, all of South Africa, just everyone killing everyone. It's great. And you know, they just can't get that through their head. They won't report it honestly like that. She's mad. Oh, why the white people get to come over here? Well, because the black people are murdering them. And they deserve to be here. And Reverend Al talking about, we don't know. And yeah, they do assimilate better. They have the same culture as we do. Same intelligence. The same ideals. Family is important to them. Treating people as they want to be treated. You could drop these people, these South Africaners, into any suburban neighborhood in America, and they will already know what it's like to live amongst other people in a suburban society and culture. They'd be going to barbecues and helping out their neighbors. That's assimilation. That's what you don't see from Sudanese and Congolese people coming here. So she's all pissed that the Trump administration said they assimilate better and they're less of a security risk. Yeah. So she's pissed at the truth. She's pissed at facts. If you're still a little skeptical, the first batch of South Africaners have come to the United States, and there was a news camera crew there. And you tell me what the difference is when you watch this of these people that are coming into the country from South Africa, white refugees from South Africa that you're going to see in a minute here. You tell me the difference between what you see in this clip and what you see in illegals streaming across the border from Mexico, illegals being deposited by boat on some shore somewhere, jumping and running onto the beaches. Illegals that are being flown to various cities in this country by the Biden-Harris administration when they were in charge, flying illegals all over the country. You tell me, because I think it's pretty obvious what the difference is between what you see with the South African refugees and what you've seen with every illegal motherfucker that has been dumped in this country. Play the video. Let's watch. Oh, look at that. By the way, just loop it, Sean. Let it play. Look at that. Oh, look at this, huh? Boy, I just can't point out the difference. And it's not just color. It's not just color. That's a big part of it. But the difference, let me see. Oh, that looks like a mom. There's a mom. There's it's like an older couple there. There's a husband and wife. There's a mom and a child. There's 3 kids. Another a husband and wife. Oh, a family. Look at the nice family here with the father, the mother, the children. When the have you seen this in any refugee video we've seen from these supposed refugees that have invaded our country? Military age young men. That's all we saw streaming over the border. And they might grab a kid every so often to make it look like, hey, the children are suffering. They were boatloads of military-aged black men and Mexican men. And Mexican women so they could come here and get an anchor baby so they could stay here. But the vast majority, especially from places like the Congo and Sudan and Somalia, what was that? Military-aged young men in their 20s and 30s. And now look, the horrible influx of white South Africans. Oh my God, actual families. And what are they doing? Waving the South African flag? Waving some flag that shows they still have some dedication and loyalty to their former nation? No, they all have American flags that they're waving in their hands. And they're happy to be in a place where mobs of blacks aren't trying to murder them off the face of the earth. Reverend Al has a problem. That MSNBC has a problem. I look at this, and in this image, in this video, I see people coming here to the country, United States, that do have the potential to succeed and make their own lives better and make our country and our society better. You could see them living in a house in the suburbs, registering their kids in school, having a nice household that the neighbors in that neighborhood appreciate. You could tell. But no, Reverend Al, an MSNBC woman, and Democrats, they're trying to make this the big racism thing. Sorry, these are the people that we want coming into the country. If you want to bring immigrants into this country, these are them. Keep the burdensome pieces out. Thank you. There they are. Beautiful. Beautiful families. Look at the little kid with his little suitcase. It's got very important stuff in there. There it is. All right. Yeah. So anything you hear from any of these fucks on mainstream media that try to make this sound like it's racism, the color of their skin, it's because they're white and these people are black. No, it's because they understand what they need to do after they arrive in this country. They're already set up. They've had a head start in just genetics, how a society works. They've done that. They worked hard. They know how to raise a family. All the things that we think of when we think of Americans, American families. Not military-age men trying to their way into an Islamic caliphate. Motherfucker. Agua. Agua. So, yeah, welcome. Welcome, refugees. I never thought I'd say that. Welcome, refugees. We're here for you. Whatever you need, we know you'll be successful.